The lawyers are saying $10 million minimum for me and my friends, what we're gonna have to pay if we lose.
Welcome to the channel.
Like, from the clickbait, you're like, oh, I'm gonna get a thing into like Legos and stuff. I don't really care about Legos. Like, maybe I won't watch it, but when you actually like watch it, it's about corporate greed and like a corporate entity that's in the wrong bullying the little guy because they can, because they have power and they can get away with it, even though they're not right. They can get away with it, and it's kind of a theme of like our justice system of like, because you're taught growing up, oh, if you're in the right, you'll win. If you're in the wrong, you'll get punished. But throughout this video, you kind of see it's like whoever has more money, they kind of maybe get this, like it goes their way. And then if you don't have money, even if you're morally and legally in the right, you can get screwed over just because you don't have the resources to fight.
What charges are you facing right now?
Oh my gosh. Okay, we got so much. We got criminal stalking when I tried to serve him court papers, cyber stalking where I made the GoFundMe. I've already been to court, I think 3 times for each of those, and those court cases could drag out to 2 years. So that's the criminal side. I'm in a lawsuit right now. The lawyers are saying $10 million minimum for me and my friends, what we're gonna have to pay if we lose. But I think we're gonna try and fight that, obviously. We got the TRO, which could be a real restraining order. I got a second restraining order coming. They haven't served me yet. I'm still, I don't want to say on the run, but we'll just say they haven't served me yet. I told him, I was like, hey, like once we make a documentary on this, like it's not going to be good for your brand is what I said. But he took that as I'm going to burn down the building and everyone inside. And so immediately after I talked to him, like I have the body cam footage. He goes and like I have the security camera footage of the corporate headquarters because it was in Discovery. And he just immediately calls the police. He's like, hey, this YouTuber just came in and said he's going to burn down our building. I'm like, what?
Wow.
And then I submitted all the raw footage to the police that shows that I didn't do that. Like you can see, I go up the elevator, I talk to him, I go down the elevator back to my car, no cuts. I submitted that whole raw footage to the police. I'm like, I don't know where he's getting this. And the police looked at it and then they still charged me anyways.
How much money have you spent so far on lawyers?
I want to say about $50,000 to $70,000, I think.
I feel like it'd be. So how were the Lego sets missing?
It's kind of being debated how much the Lego sets are actually worth. And he already got paid out $17,000 from the previous owner. So he wasn't owed $200,000, but that's just an easy number to use. But he puts his Lego sets in the store and the store didn't have enough money to buy them from him. So they said, let's do a consignment. So they're still your Lego sets, but every time one gets sold, you keep like 70% or whatever, how much percent they're giving him. And we'll keep like the other percent, as a thank you for like selling them for us. And so it's working out fine. He already got paid $17,000 in this. So every time sets would get sold, he'd get the majority of the money. They keep a small amount. But then corporate comes over and takes over the store for whatever reason. That's not really any of Brian's or my business. I guess there was a business dispute that's completely unrelated. So they take over the store and they said everything in the store is now ours, including these sets that weren't the store's to give him. It'd be similar if I parked my car in their parking lot. Like they don't just get my car. Like it's not their
They
car.
sell
It's my car. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So his Legos are kind of like, yeah, a car parked in the parking lot. Like they don't just get his Legos, but they're claiming they do. So when he shows up, he's like, hey, can I have my Legos back? And they say, no, these are our Legos now. This is our inventory. And he's like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, he's like, I have this contract. And like, well, we're not a part of this contract. In order for us to be under an agreement, we have to sign something. And we didn't sign this contract. So we don't have to listen. We don't have to follow the contract because we didn't sign it. But what they are failing to understand is when they take over the business, they take over any of the agreements that are in the business, including that contract. So since they took over the business, they're taking over that contract now, which their response to that is, well, if you want your Legos back, you can sue us. But by suing us, you'll spend more money on court than your collection's even worth, and you'll just lose money. So you'll lose time, money. It'd be much easier if you just let us keep the Lego sets. And that's where he was at.
And why did this video then break the internet if it seems like it's just someone stealing Lego?
I think because of the last sentence I just said. So the corporation says, we know we're in the wrong, but we can get away with this because we have money and you don't. And I think people are tired of like big corporations like hurting the little guy. It's like the punching down. People hate that. And so I basically went to Brian. I was like, hey, you know what? We're going to stand up to this company and show them that the little guy can't get bullied anymore, you know? And I didn't do it from like a Mr. Beast perspective where it was like, okay, we're going to like pour all this money and like do all this like stuff. Cause then it wouldn't have had the impact of like the little guy standing up to the big guy. Like I did it from the story of, okay, we have no resources. How can we use our creativity to take down this big company, you know? And it kind of really relates to people. It's because when I tried serving papers, they said the paper, it was not a real lawsuit. And so they had to arrest me because if it wasn't a real lawsuit, then you could make an argument I was just being there for the sake of being there. And then that is stalking, like you guys were saying. But because they were real court papers, I did have a legitimate reason to be there and we were serving the papers. But so they arrested me because they thought it was a fake lawsuit. And so because it was fake, then that makes me being arrested.
But they didn't actually think that it was fake because in the released
Yeah,
police
so then the
camera
body
footage-
cam releases.
The body cam footage came out.
where so I post the video where it says like they're like, is this a real lawsuit? And she says yes. So they have to change their story. So they make a press release. The chief of police comes out with his ASMR voice and he goes, the court case was real. We verified it was real, but the papers have already been served. And because they've already been served, Ben was just reenacting this for YouTube views. And then the unredacted footage gets released where the police officer says, have these papers been served yet? And they're like, nope, they still have to be served. He's like, okay, so they still have to be served. And he's like, yep. So then they got caught in another lie. And now my guess is they're coming up with another lie to counteract that. So basically the pattern is let's lie. Proof comes out to show they were lying. So we change our story. More proof comes out to show that the changed story is a lie. And then they change their story again. So it's a pattern that we're seeing. Basically every plot point of the story follows that same formula. But
Is there going to be any actual material
How much money have you raised so far for your legal defense?
well, the GoFundMe is at $500,000. So the plan is obviously Brian's first priority. Let's refund him, get him his legal fees. Because why are they going to sue Brian?
Mhm.
Like, why are they going to steal from him and then sue him? That makes no sense. So let's get him legally protected. Then I'm probably the second priority. Because if I get sued, I can't make any more videos on them. And I know the public definitely wants to see more videos coming out. So me and my friends were probably the second priority. And then after that, I still think there's a lot of money left after that. So we're giving it to all the franchise owners because we've seen a pattern of Brandon and Josh, the same people that took over Crystal's store. They do the same thing where they like don't let them pay money or something. And then they're like, oh, you broke your franchise agreement, you know, like, or they'll do something that they got approval for. And then they steal the store from them and they steal their life. So say I'm just some like small business owner, like, I want to start my own bricks and minifigs. I'm going to invest my life savings. Like a lot of times it's like $400,000, $500,000, like $500,000. I pour this into this business and then corporate just steals my whole store from me and I get nothing in return. Like that sucks, you know?
Why would someone open a franchise of bricks and minifigs? Why not just open up your own store and just
because
call it
before
something
this,
else?
Bricks and Minifigs was before my video on them, they were a very, very respected company. So say I open a Bricks and Minifigs, yes, I have to give them 6% to use their brand name, but I might get 15 to 20% more customers because Bricks and Minifigs is a well-respected name in the community. And so if I open a Bricks and Minifigs, more customers are going to come in, you know, because it's a trusted name. It's like the reason people buy like Cheerios rather than the off-brand, just because it's even though it's basically the same product, it's literally the same like ingredients and everything. But I want to buy Cheerios because it's the main brand. I'm familiar with that brand, you know.
Now, since a lot of these stores, though, are independently owned, how do you feel?
How do you predict this will all end?
Shoot, I think he's going to destroy his whole company, and I think he's not going to admit he's wrong. I think even like we'll keep saying like, hey, we'll work with you, you know, and we'll try to make things right. He's not going to accept it. He's going to destroy his whole company. I think the franchises will all be forced to rebrand to something else and hopefully survive this, I guess, is the goal. Because now it's kind of getting to the point where it's like, okay, like we've already destroyed corporate. Like, how do we save the franchises now? And I think the only way to save the franchises is to have them rebrand to their own thing. But
What are the biggest lies being told about the story right now?
I think the first one is that they tried. So Bricks and Minifigs' main narrative right now is we tried to give Brian his Legos back. Brian just didn't want him back. Like we tried to give him the inventory list and show all this, but he didn't want it. And in my third video, I have that footage of them saying that. I think he said it on every single podcast he's been on, every single news station he's been on. He said it every public appearance he's been on so far, which is like probably at least like 6 or 7 at this point. That's the main narrative they're saying. And then in my video, it just cuts straight to their like email thread. And Brian's like, "Can I please have my stuff back?" And they're like, "We have no obligation to ever give you your Legos back. This matter's closed." And he's like, "Well, like, can I please have them back?" They're like, "Nope, we're not giving them back to you. Like, you are not getting the Legos." And then they go on Fox News and they're like, "We tried to give him his stuff back, but Brian was the one that didn't want it." It's like, well, like, obviously, like, I don't know. It's just, there's evidence, and then there's what Bricks and Minifigs is saying. The two things just don't match. Ooh, I think the power of the internet is kind of underrated. Like, because you can, I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm scared that I'm like to do the right thing because like maybe I'll get sued and stuff," you know? But like, if you have the power of like public support behind you, it's kind of one of those powerful things in the world, you know? Like, we're kind of doing what to this corporation, what they were doing to Brian in a sense, you know? Like, "Oh, we're gonna win because we have more power than you." And now with the power, the internet's kind of doing that to this company, which is crazy that the internet has that much power.
If you like this, subscribe and drop a comment.